Welcome back to the channel. Just doing a little wire stripping. I don't know if you remember this little blue guy from one of my earlier reviews, earlier videos. It works. Still no information from the company on the parts that we're missing. No contact at all. And as you can see, I'm having to use quite a bit of force to get anything done with this thing. So, as you can see right here, this is about 40 pounds of copper. 40 pounds of copper wire that I have done. A good portion of it's been right here with this thing. Which, again, didn't cut all the way through, so I need to make more adjustments. You know, it's kind of a pain in the butt to use this thing. Luckily, the wife was helping me one day and came to the quick realization that this thing's a nightmare. An absolute nightmare to use. Your hands get absolutely destroyed. Let's see if we can fix that with a little bit of magic. Dang, look at that. This here is a COZ automatic motorized electric wire stripping machine. I'll go ahead and leave a link to this in the description below. Got it on Amazon. This is $227, and you remember that little box of copper. 10 pounds of it might have been through that other blue one. And I mean to tell you, my fingers were hurting for days after using that thing. Let me go ahead and bring you up just a little bit so you can see my face. I don't know why anybody would want to see my face, but we'll go ahead and put it in there. Alright, that better? That's better. Alright, so let's get rid of that blur, huh? So, like I was saying, about 10 pounds of that copper was done with the blue wire stripper, the manual wire stripper. And it didn't take long for me and the wife to realize that we was messing up. Our fingers hurt, everything just hurt with using that machine. Not only did it not come with all the parts that it was supposed to come with, but just getting the wire to actually cut through there was a pain in the butt. And it was definitely a slow moving process. And I've got a lot of wire that needs stripped. As you can see, that's 40 pounds, and that's not even half of what I've got to get done. So the copper prices today at $1.90. I've got to get at least 80 plus pounds to make sure that I pay this off and keep the wife happy that we got it. So this should already be set up. We'll run a piece through and see how it is, let you guys see it. Super quiet machine too. Definitely not upset about it. So we've used this for about a week and a half now. Definitely not disappointed with its performance. So we'll go ahead and let you guys have a listen. Alright, so this is me talking, the same voice or same tone I was just talking in, same volume. And you can see it's a pretty quiet machine. It's definitely something you can sit down in your living room and just knock out wire. So, you remember the video, you know, the first portion of the video where I was pulling the wire through, how long that took? Let's see how long this takes. Oh, it fell off. We're not tight enough. So, I will say that about this machine. Let's just get this done and then I'll talk about the little quirks that you need to keep in mind while you're using it. So you can see I'm having to pay pretty close attention to what's going on here. You can't just put a piece of wire in there and then forget about it. Yeah, it fell off again. Alright, But the question is, with that little tiny bit of effort on my part, did it do what it was supposed to do? I would say that is a yes. Did it all come out nice and easy? I think it just got a little bit easier. Oh, we got a flat spot right there. That's why it didn't cut. It's alright. This is not showing a very good review of it because of the little piece of wire, so I didn't want to work. So, that, yeah, won't get a single blister from that, will I? So, like I said, some of the quirks about this thing, you have to keep pressure on it or it will jump off of the wheel. I'll go ahead and take all this off and we'll run a couple through so you can see what I'm talking about as it goes through. If you don't keep a little pressure on it, I keep a little downward pressure, it will jump off the wheel. If there's any twists or bends in your wire, it will spit it off the wheel like it was never even there. Which turns into a whole nother problem because now you got to turn the wire around, try to line up to a point where you think it might meet up with the other one or the other cut that it just made halfway through the wire. It's just a lot easier to keep a little pressure on it. So let me go ahead and pull this wheel off real quick, or this cover plate off. And this thing does come with a couple extra plates for different sizes of wire. I've seen a couple people using it on YouTube. They don't even have it on there, but I found that it helps guide the wire in there just a little bit better. So let me go and get the camera moved around here real quick, and we'll run some more wire so you can see from the front and the back. So I've removed the cover here, and I've removed this cover so that you guys can see what's happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I can get it to jump off the wheel so you can see what I'm talking about there. But this also gives you a good view of the wheel. I'm sure you can see a little bit of a shiny spot on the wheel. It's not razor sharp, and it doesn't need to be. It cuts the wire just fine. I think if it was razor sharp, it would actually wind up cutting your copper as it's punching through the outer coating of it. So let's go ahead and get a quick run through here. You'll have to excuse what it's mounted to. I mounted it to an old chair we don't use anymore. Alright, here we go. Oh, don't you do it. You just feed it in. I'm trying to keep my fingers clear. There we go. Again, keep a little bit of pressure on it. And it just pulls it all right on through. No issues at all. Let's see if we can get a good picture here of, get you to focus, come on. There we go. As you can see, it cut right through it, and that wire is not going to be difficult to get out of there at all. Let's go ahead and get you zoomed back out. That way the autofocus doesn't go nuts on you. Alright, does it come out nice and easy? I still got to use some tools, but as you can see it comes out nice and easy. Get some light on it there, comes out nice and easy. And the copper's not frayed too bad. If your copper is cutting real bad and you're getting a bunch of little shavings all over the place, go ahead and adjust your knob right here and get the blade depth set a little bit better. But this is literally effortless and a huge time saver. What we will do is we'll go ahead and prepare all the wire that's going to be pushed through and run all that wire. We'll wind up with a whole bucket of wire that's already cut. We just don't strip it yet. That way we run the machine non-stop. It goes solid for about 2 hours. Haven't had any issues with that. The motor does get a little bit warm, but nothing too crazy. There's plenty of heat sinks on it. It does keep it going. The gearbox here also has heat sinks, and it does a pretty good job. Let me move this light. It also does a pretty good job. And no, overall, we're extremely pleased with the purchase. I'll give you a little bit about it. It is completely constructed out of, they say it's aircraft grade aluminum. This is from the old Chinesium land, so if any of you watch Wrangler Star, you know about Chinesiums. But it is driven by a 180 watt motor. The button here, the on button, you really got to dig into it and push hard in order to get it to stay on. But the off switch is protruded a little bit, so it does, in case of emergency, you can actually push that pretty quick. But the on button, you do got to get into it a little bit. So it's driven by a 1/4 horsepower motor. It will do wire gauge from 1.5 millimeters, which is 0.05 of an inch, up to 0.98 of an inch, or 25 millimeters. Let me go ahead and get that other attachment here. However you need to dig into this. There you go. So you got your large guard, your medium, and your small guard. And between these two guards, you should be able to get anything done that you need to get done. It also came with some Allen keys, and not real sure what that's for. The instructions are extremely vague, to say the least. So where you would even put this is completely beyond me. I've looked over the whole thing, can't figure out where I would put it. It's just a little red threaded plug. Not real sure. You do have to keep some downward pressure on it to make sure that your wire doesn't jump off. Let's see if we can replicate that for you guys real quick. I'm not going to keep any pressure on the wire. We're just going to run it through, and it should just decide it's going to jump off. You'll know when it jumps off because just the wire stops moving. So let's go ahead and see if we can replicate that real quick while minding my fingers. Alright. Now, of course it's going to go all the way through, right? So I want it to jump off. Yeah, it sure did. Anyways, it will jump off every now and then. If it does that, I just turn the wire around. I don't try to follow the same cut I just did. It makes it easier for it to jump off at that same point that it did, because there's now a natural groove cut into the plastic or rubber coating. But if it does happen, I just turn it around 180 degrees, put it back in there, and I might have a little bit of a problem stripping it, which is why I always keep a pair of handy little pliers there. But all in all, we're extremely happy with it. It does make the job a lot faster, and my fingers are extremely thankful. My hands get beat up enough as it is, so to have something like this is definitely a treat, to say the least. If you have any questions about it, I'll go ahead and answer them to the best of my abilities. Just leave a comment below asking your question. I'll most certainly get back to you. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get some wire done so I can make sure we recoup the money that we spent on this thing, because Mama was a little bit hesitant when we went to buy this one. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like what you see, give it a thumbs down. Just don't just give it a thumbs down and nothing to fix it. You can give me something to work on, something to fix, something to aim towards. That way I can orient the videos in a little better direction that you might see more suitable.